and should talk this way rather than over to the curtains. Yeah.
Buyer's Remorse.
Hello and welcome to Buyer's Remorse. I'm Darren.
I'm Justin.
On Buyer's Remorse, we play games that are in our library that we've bought and are just sitting there unloved and waiting for us to play them for 60 minutes so that we can decide if they are an awesome buyer's confirmation or a horrible waste of time buyer's remorse. And Justin played a winner called
Everything.
Yeah.
I don't know why you gave me this one, because I know you love this one.
Yeah, and I just played, when I was playing this, I was thinking in my head, my God, Justin would hate this game. Oh, he has it. Awesome.
Developed by David O'Reilly, published by David O'Reilly, and Playism Japan. Recent reviews mostly positive. Overall, very positive, with 2,755 reviews. It is $15 a base. No way I paid that for it.
No, bundle.
The Steam description: be the universe in this epic, award-winning reality simulation game featuring thousands of playable characters, endless exploration, an extraordinary soundtrack, and narration from Alan Watts. I have no idea who Alan Watts is. I mean, I know now that he speaks on this kind of topic, but I have no idea who he is.
He's the guy that's in the videos in The Witness as well.
Oh, is that so? Oh, I'm noticing something here then. Okay.
You see a pattern going here then.
Yeah. The store page has a picture of all the awards they've won. It's like 20 or 21 awards.
I didn't realize they'd won so many awards.
Like Polygon Game of the Year kind of thing.
I wouldn't go that far.
I wouldn't either. Double Fine and Extra Credits, who I follow as curators, both give it a thumbs up. Not surprised. Everything is definitely something that feels unique. And it definitely feels like something that has a lot of potential. As a game, in my opinion, it still has a long way to go. We start out in space, and then I think I stepped away from the computer for 30 seconds, and then suddenly I was a sheep.
Yeah.
You don't get to choose what you are first, right? You start off as a sheep. Okay.
I think so.
I was afraid I'd missed my opportunity. You don't walk as a sheep.
No.
You roll end over end.
And when you say roll, we're using a really loose term of the word roll. Like, imagine a square ball rolling.
That's basically what you're doing, yes. I equate most of the movement in this game as though it were a little kid playing with those hard plastic toys with no joints in them.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this game is like, and the movement is like. It is awful.
There's hardcore everything people out there, so God knows we're going to piss off someone today. But I wonder if they did that just because they couldn't be bothered animating things, or if it would be too hard to program, or it just take too much time, or it would be too expensive. So they were just like, you know what? Fuck it. They're all cubes.
Yeah. I think that is a huge problem for me. I think that is what would have been fun. Oh, I can be everything in the game, and everything will move differently, react differently. I can jump into a monkey and climb up a tree. I can get into a bird and fly around. The store page makes it look like you can fly around. I'm sure that you can. I, a little bit beyond the hour, did finally get into a dragonfly.
Okay.
It took a long time before I could make that work. But once I did, then yes, I could fly around, and the wings actually sort of float a bit. They actually have an animation. So that's nice. But it didn't feel like flying should feel.
Right.
It doesn't fly like other games fly. It's not flying in a fun thing. You're kind of just wazding through, basically.
Like a camera, almost, like a camera panning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel right. And so I think for me, that's always going to be my biggest gripe throughout the whole game, as well as some other things. The music is fine. It's relaxing.
Mm-hmm.
But unless there's a lot of other amazing songs, I really wouldn't say this has an amazing soundtrack. It's not the type of thing that I would listen to because I really want to listen to this soundtrack. I might put this on in the background, the same as I would a lo-fi study mix.
Mm-hmm.
For people who love this thing, I'm sure that it's great. But for me, I barely noticed it.
Right.
how did you feel about that? Because you're much more of a soundtrack person.
I am, but it's been such a long time since I played this that I don't remember. I do remember it just being, like you said, relaxing. Put it this way, it's no System Shock 2. It didn't stick with me. I think it does the job for the game that you're playing, you know. It's supposed to be a chill kind of soundtrack.
Yeah, it's definitely a chill game. Even as a sheep, the mountain lions or whatever did not eat me.
Oh yeah. There's no fear of death in this game, really. It's just fear of what the hell am I supposed to be doing? Where am I going now?
Right, which they try to help you out with a couple different icons. If you see a thought bubble, you know you need to get to that thought bubble, and then whatever it is, tree, grass, bug, it'll have some sort of thought. Most of them sort of random.
Yeah.
Dead tree told me, if you see another dead tree, let me know. I found another dead tree, but no way I could figure out how to get back to the first dead tree. And I don't know if that even is a thing. I don't think this is a quest type game. I think if I went back, it would say the same exact thing again.
Maybe. I don't remember that. The way that I felt about this was, it felt more like one of these like stress ball games where it was just like, that was all it was. It didn't really seem to have a purpose. You know, it was just like, just mess around and have fun with it as much as you can.
Yeah, I could see that for people like you.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it just feels really, really frustrating. I'm flipping end over end as the sheep. I come across a plant who tells me to sing, so now I know what button to press to bleat as a sheep, or make rock sounds as a rock, sort of scraping sounds. Everything has a noise, regardless of what it is, even when you get, as I'm going to talk about next, to different sized things. Because you can level down and go down to grains of sand and what I'm assuming are... Well, I don't know how far down you really can go. I was getting down to sunflower pollen and things like that. Can you get down to the cell level?
You can go down to quarks, man.
Okay.
Yeah, it goes pretty deep.
I didn't seem to quite be able to go down that far. One thing that I did find very frustrating, because I'm not a walking sim person, I want to get to the next objective. There aren't really objectives. The objective seems to be to just find everything.
Explore, yeah.
But sometimes I would get stuck in places where I had to take ages to get to the next thing. Because you have to be around something. And it's a bit too easy sometimes to be stuck out in a game called Everything, where you can get stuck where there's nothing. Or nothing that you can really get to within range of the game. So you have to slowly get there. Or nothing new as well. Spent most of the end of the game trying to get to a new area as a caterpillar because it seemed one of the fastest.
Right.
And it would just shoot straight. You can run, in quotes here, run. You can make your creature move faster by pressing a button, which I did all the time. But it's in a way a little frustrating because you have to, on the controller anyway, you're using the joystick and you're using a button. So I'm having to sit here with both hands on the controller when I'm just trying to go forward as fast as possible, having to push the joystick all the way up and press the button down and just sitting there holding that. It just feels a bit unnecessary. Like they could have just made, as with most other games, running be... I mean, the joysticks are designed so that you can have different degrees of speed depending on how far you're pushing the joystick.
Yeah, so just like have run as the default kind of thing.
Perhaps they didn't do that because of PC. Maybe it's a little bit different.
Maybe.
But you would still have shift and forward, which would be on the same hand, but on a controller it's not. And maybe that's where it gets me and doesn't get you. Yeah, I spent a lot of time in the lower level because it took me a long time to get back up again. And then I was desperate to get out of anything above frog or caterpillar, or there was some sort of beetle, I think I was, and a gecko. And I could be a plant. And plants are kind of funny the way they move because they basically just spread and be the next one. So if you're a tuft of grass, to move, you need to become the next tuft of grass and the next one, and it just spreads its way slowly along. That makes sense to me. But it's so slow. It's so
Well, what do you expect from a plant? You expect them to be sprinting?
I'd expect the frog to be able to move faster. And the
or
frog,
jump.
yes, the frog can't jump, and the frog just looks awful as it's moving around. Because it's already in jump mode, but it's not jumping. It moves slower than the caterpillar. Like, the caterpillar is one of the fastest things I've found so far in the game. That shouldn't be the case.
You found the secret boss, man.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
It's also a frustration where I'm, say, the caterpillar, and I can see thought bubbles on these plants that are on top of a rock, but I can't get the game to recognize that. So I'm going to have to go and come back to them if I want to see them.
As something bigger so you can reach up to it kind of thing. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Right.
And that was a problem because for a long time, I was just gunning it straight ahead, trying to find anything that was big enough so that I could start interacting with bigger things again. Or hopefully move faster than I could as a caterpillar. And I could see the shadows of the dragonflies, but for so long, I couldn't make it work. I eventually had to jump into a tall flower or something and then move as fast as I could in the flower to try and get it. And that would be one thing that I would say mechanically is a bit of an issue, getting those thought bubbles and the interaction to work a bit easier. I already have it set on easy, but it's so easy for it to jump into being accessible and then not accessible, and with everything moving all at the same time. It's not like time freezes so that I can get into that creature.
Yeah.
So I have to time it so that we are both close enough and we are both in the exact right spot, and I hit the button at the right time before it jumps out of my reach again. It can be a little frustrating. We have, as I said, the thought bubbles, which sometimes give you tutorial stuff. That's how I sort of learn. Well, I think some of that was the everything symbol. The logo, the many line logo. Some of those things were, here's your next mechanic, here's your next thing that you can do. We also had the circles, the concentric circles. Those are bits of Alan Watts talking.
How'd you feel about that?
I don't like it. I don't like it. I think it's just a bit too much for me to take in. And I don't like having it be so broken up. Because you're getting, a minute, 2 minutes at a time. And then you have to wander around for a very long time for me sometimes before you can get the next 2 lines of the speech. I don't like breaking it up like that. I think longer chunks would be better. I think if the speech had more to do directly with some of the stuff that I'm doing, but maybe it doesn't. Maybe the whole presentation that he's given is exactly what this is. It just keeps talking about everything is connected. We are not individual things, which I don't necessarily agree with. And I think that that might be part of my issue. And it's not really based on anything. And he'll say, oh, well, scientists will tell you this as well. And I'm not sure that scientists would say that.
Yeah, I mean, he's a philosopher, isn't he? So it's like, yeah, basically he's got carte blanche to say what he wants. make up shit.
Yeah, but saying that scientists will agree to that, so, well, which scientists?
Yeah, exactly. Which ones? Yeah, the ones that agree with you.
Yeah. But I did spend I put in my notes about 30 minutes trying to get somewhere as a caterpillar just to find something bigger that I can move around and something interesting. I really wanted to be a lion because I had seen them many times, or even a goat. Something else that I had passed as a sheep, but I couldn't find my way back to being a sheep so I can move around again. One thing that I do think is nice is the ability to connect to others of your same kind, or even there is a setting so that you can make it for similar things, which I didn't really try. I'm assuming then sheep and goats might be able to travel together. But even as a sheep at the beginning, when I first learned about it, I picked up something like 15 sheep and we were just rolling together.
Right.
Literally rolling.
Yeah.
And you can call out to other creatures. They will call back. So call out to the lion and it will call back. It had a red circle around the sound. So I don't know if that was meant to be like, oh, this is danger, but there's no danger in this game. So
no,
it didn't mean anything. And you can drop ones as well. Along the way, you don't have to keep the 15. You can just drop one at a time. And you can press on the controller the Y button. They will all spin around and do what they refer to as a dance.
Mm-hmm.
As you do that, you can make more of those things. So you can make more sheep. They aren't baby sheep, though. They're just the same.
Of course they are. Why would they be babies? Yes.
And that's kind of the game. I don't know. Is there anything more to it that I'm missing?
Yeah, there's a lot, really. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to. Well,
I think for this game to spoil away.
Okay, I was going to say, if you're not going to go back, then I could spoil it. But if you are going to go and play it, the whole point of the game is to discover it on your own. And so, if I tell you, then there's really no need to play it. Unless you're interested, I wonder what that would look like.
But I don't even know what would be the point. At this point, I'm still in...
there's no point.
Right. Okay.
There's no point.
But I'm still in the desert.
Yeah.
Like you said, I can go further down. I could get down to quark level.
Right, you can go up as well then.
I can go up. I could probably be a planet or something, right?
Yeah, so you can basically get out into the universe and then into the multiverse, and you can make big bangs and stuff like that. So you can go from this tiniest thing we know to the biggest thing we know. And,
but that doesn't interest me.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's the one hurdle we have to overcome here is how do we make Justin like this?
Well,
it doesn't look like you will.
No, because I'm not really doing anything. You've not given me objectives. There's no quests. This is not my kind of game. The animals don't really look cute. I mean, this is not a Pokemon where you can have an okay game, but at least the animals are cute and that sucks you in. They don't look particularly real either.
I forget the graphics. Are they blocky? Are they they're not Minecraft blocky, but they're...
No, well, but not much is. Minecraft is purposely blocky. Mm. It's polygonal, definitely. When you get down to bug level on the ground, it didn't look that bad when you're a bigger creature, but once you're down on the ground, I see where they put all the different pieces to make the shape.
Right.
Which is a stylistic choice, I think, but it doesn't make it pretty. This is not like a walking sim where you go, this looks so real, this looks so beautiful. They don't have that.
Mm-hmm.
The animal's not moving in the way that I'd want them to, or to make them really feel different, so that I'd want to try them all.
Right.
If I get into a goat or mountain lion or whatever other animals there are, they're probably going to move exactly the same way. What's the point of that? And again, that may be the problem, is I'm looking for a point that there isn't one.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to, I'm not going to have to listen to the speech. I could ignore the Alan Watts section altogether.
You can. I think there's a way to put it all together at the end, or like all the stuff that you found, and you could watch it in its full length at the end kind of thing.
I'm sure I could find it somewhere else.
I'm sure you could look it up on YouTube. And then, that's it. There you go. you finished the game. But the point is that there is no point. And it's just like you trying to become everything, being everything, and exploring everything until you get bored of it. And
for me, that's kind of already passed. I will say this. They should have told me this way earlier in the game.
Mm-hmm.
There is a way to be anything that you've tried before. There is a set of buttons you can hit so that you can get in and choose to be something you've already been before. So you don't have to, like I did for 30 minutes, go looking for something else to be. So I could have probably gotten back into the sheep and moved faster and moved to a different area.
Right.
Much easier. That would have been so nice. It was a bit weird, though, when I tried it, because I became it was like a mite, I think. Mm-hmm. But once I became that, there seemed to be everywhere around, and they also seem to be the wrong size now. So I don't know what I did or how the game works with that.
Okay.
Because I went from being a caterpillar or dragonfly, whatever I was at the time, to a mite. And the mites are meant to be super tiny, but now they were the size of the frogs, because that was the level I was at.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you can get to the point where you have, say, microscopic sheep or mammal-sized sunflower pollen.
Right. Mammal-sized amoebas. That would be pretty terrifying. So who would you recommend it for then? Who do you think?
Well, obviously you've already played it.
Yep.
I think people who want something relaxing, sure. Somebody who find Alan Watts interesting to listen to, sure. Walking sim people, maybe. I mean, it's not really a walking sim, and it's not really the beauty that I think a lot of people would expect, but I think they would have the patience for this, and they would have the mentality of saying, I want to explore just to explore. I think this would be a fantastic game for young children, because they would love to try everything. They love doing the same thing over and over again. They might find it very funny the way that the sheep moves and rolls over and over. I know this because my nephew, when he was younger, loved Goat Simulator, and the movement in that game is not always the best either.
Yeah.
And that's part of the fun at that age. And I think that this could be fun. I think one of the things that's missing, though, if that was your audience, would be to actually have some educational bits thrown in here. Some facts as you jump into a frog that tell you about the frog, or the mating habits, or how long frogs live. Maybe every time you jumped into a frog, you got a different fact, up to 5 facts. That could be interesting. I mean, it reminds me a little bit about your Little Mouse Encyclopedia.
I was just about to mention that, yep.
But I think that would add a lot more to it, even for me, even though most of those facts would probably be fairly mundane. It would at least add something to all the times where I'm just wandering and not doing anything and looking for the next thing to jump into.
Yeah, I would like, I mean, as much as I liked everything, I would love to have like a realistic version of it. Like you said, you get in and you're an elephant and you're lumbering around, or you're a lion and you're a cheetah and you're zipping around the savannah, you know? That would be amazing. And then if they could like realistically scale down and show you their vision of what it looks like to move around at the subatomic level. Because there's some really interesting games out there now that are doing that, with like where you can go inside the human body and you can watch protein manufacturing and things like that. It's really, really amazing what we can visualize now. I'd love to see everything upgraded to that. But I mean, I do like this game. That's just a me wishful thinking.
How do you feel about the $15 price tag?
I definitely didn't pay that for this. I don't remember how much I got it for. 5, I think. And I was happy with the 5. I don't know how many hours I've got on it. I think I've got about 10 hours on it. And from you talking to me about it, it's like, oh man, I really want to go back and play this. So I think I'm going to have to install it again and play it again just to go through it one more time. Because it sounds like maybe they've added other stuff as well. You're saying things to me and I'm like, oh, I don't remember that.
Maybe you missed it. I think there must be thousands of things to be in this game.
Yeah, that's also true. I might have missed it entirely. But I did get from the very smallest to the very biggest. I don't know how many of the Alan Watts things I've collected, but I do enjoy listening to that. His kind of take on the philosophy of everything. And yeah, I thought the game was really interesting, but I knew you'd hate it. So will you go back though? Or are you done?
I think I'm done. I thought I would, but after playing it, it's just not good for me. This is not a game. It's more of an art piece, and it's not beautiful enough to be the art piece that I would want to. I don't think I minded too much the first hour, but I think I knew that it was over. I think if I had played this, say, as a demo in a store or just a demo on the Steam page before I had bought it, I'm sure I must have got this bundled with other stuff, and that would have been how I got it, because I would not have focused on, I really want to get everything. Mm-hmm. Awards mean nothing to me.
Especially now.
Yeah. So many of the games that we have done for both this and Filling in the Gaps are BAFTA award winners. And I'm like, really? This one, I get it. I understand why you would like this game. Mm-hmm. And if I had started to play this, I would say, yeah, this is a Darren game, but it's not for me. I do not see myself going through. I think I would rather watch a highlight video of people showing what you can do in the game than what I would actually experience playing the game. Because again, even if I get to be a planet, I won't really feel like I'm being the planet or that I'm doing anything, which is why I play games instead of just only watching movies. I want to be doing the thing.
Right. Man, I cannot wait until you play Mountain. Because that's when I gave you that to play as well. You should play that right off the back of this one. You might. I don't know if that would just push you over the edge, though. So, what tags then?
I would say slow, relaxing philosophy.
Slow, relaxing philosophy. That sounds like a jazz band. I think I know this one, but yeah, is this a buyer's confirmation or a buyer's remorse then?
It's a tough one for me to want to trash because I know how much you love it, and I can see why you love it. I think for you, it's definitely a confirmation. For me, I liked maybe the first 10 minutes. But then there were brief moments of going, oh, now I'm this thing. Or now I can make my things dance. And seeing that the first time was interesting, seeing it the fifth time was not so interesting. Because again, the things don't move, so they don't do anything really interesting. By the end, I was really miserable.
Yeah.
And so for all of you that love everything, I get it. I think that that's fine. But for me, I did not enjoy it. I do not want to play it again. For me, it's a remorse.
Remorse.
Sorry to hear that, but also very glad.